I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncers' gilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Is that light a bit bright for you, Tony?
A little bit.
It's highlighting your good features, so I'll keep it on.
Keep it on, mate.
Today is Wednesday, obviously about 3 days away from Saturday night in Cardiff with Joe Cordina. But yeah, 3 days out. Everything gone to plan so far for you and the team regarding Joe?
Yeah, he's had a good camp, and he's been down in training in Essex with me since January, so he's had a long camp, and yeah, the camp's gone well. He's in great condition, mentally and physically, and he just wants to regain his world title on Saturday night.
Something I spoke to Joe about earlier on today about that kind of previous situation, which is in the past now, but was it frustrating that obviously Joe had the win, a great win last year against the Gower, the IBF situation, which forced him to be stripped of that title, but obviously months after now he's got a chance to regain that title. But was that a frustrating time to see one of your world champions stripped of a title?
Yeah, you know, he had a terrible injury on his hand, and it was a legitimate injury. He had to have the operation done, and you know, you see a lot of these world champions, you know, they get like, some of them get like up to a year without defending, and I thought it was harsh that he got stripped to the belt. As we know, Rakhimov went on to beat Zelfa Barrett for the vacant title, and now, you know, the good news is that Joe's got a chance to regain that belt, and you know, as I said earlier, he's in great condition, and I believe that you know, he's got the ability to beat Rakhimov. He's going to be a tough fight. Rakhimov's a tough fighter, but I believe that he's got the ability to beat him on Saturday and regain his title.
The Gower fight before Joe dispatched of a Gower quite emphatically in Cardiff last year. Is this fight with Rakhimov a harder fight on paper, should we say, because obviously he's not fought him yet, than the Gower fight?
Well, they're both unbeaten. They're both world champions. So you've got two world champions unbeaten fighting Saturday night, and you know, he probably is. You know, he's on paper looking a tougher task, but when you look at the Aguawa fight, you know, he's a very experienced fighter. You know, he had some good wins at world level, and you know, that was also an hard fight. So, you know, Joe's got a great ability to make tough fighters look ordinary, and with Rakhimov, I believe that, you know, with Joe's IQ and his boxing ability, his speed, his power, that he can claim this title on Saturday and look good doing it.
Eddie Hearn has gone on record as saying that he's very confident that Joe will knock Rakhimov out. I spoke to Joe about this earlier on, and he's not really taking any notice of that. He said, like, as long as he wins, not to look for the knockout. If it happens, it happens.
That's correct, and you know, you don't want to be going looking for the knockout, and you know, it's all about winning the title. That's the main thing at the end of it, and I believe Joe's ability. You know, he's got the ability to do that Saturday, and you know, it's going to be a tough fight. We know that, but you know, I just think Joe's boxing brain and his IQ is far superior to Rakhimov, and you know, he's trained hard. He's in great condition for this fight. You know, he put everything into the camp, and he's done his weight well, and he's just looking forward to fighting Saturday now.
For yourself, though, personally, will it be more satisfying to see Joe become a two-time world champion compared to that when he originally won that title?
Oh, it's a great feat, you know, becoming a two-time world champion. I think only from Wales, I think it was only Kawasaki that's done that. You know, and there ain't a lot of British fighters that have done it. So to say you're a two times world champion is a brilliant feat, and you know, as I say, Joe's looking forward to the fight on Saturday, and you know, it's going to be a great night in the Motor Point Arena, great atmosphere, and you know, I'm expecting a hard fight, but I'm expecting Joe to come through and win this fight.
Let's talk about Jordan Thompson, who's in action against Luke Watkins. Quite interesting fight. But yeah, your kind of connection and association now with Luke Watkins, just wanted you to talk about that a little bit as well.
Jordan Thompson.
Jordan Thompson, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, Jordan has been with me since January, so this is obviously our first fight together. And, you know, I'm pleased with the way the camp's gone, and because we've had 4 months together, I've got to know him personally as well, and he's got great ability. He's obviously a massive cruiserweight, you know, he's like 6'7". So Luke Watkins is a step up in opponent for him. You know, I'm expecting a good fight, and you know, and I'm expecting Jordan to come through victorious, and I'm excited to see, you know, what he's all about. And if he goes and puts in a good performance and gets a good win, then he chucks himself into the circle of good cruiserweights, the big names in this country. You know, and the cruiserweight division in this country is really thriving at the minute, and you know, Jordan can chuck his hat in the mix.
If you didn't know his weight category and you looked at Jordan Thompson, there's no way you'd book him as a cruiserweight, was there?
I know, because like I've got an heavyweight who's big at my gym, Dempsey McKean. He's 6'6", and Jordan's like an inch taller than him. So, and he you know, he gets himself in great condition as well. You know, he's ripped up, and he's a big puncher. So, you know, as I say, I'm excited to see him fight Saturday, and you know, against a decent opponent as well, and you know, see if he can get himself in that world title mix.
Okay, Tony, obviously I've got to ask you kind of the latest regarding Conor Benn. There's a lot of stuff going on regarding his next fight. Obviously news come out yesterday about the situation regarding UCAD being provisionally suspended, etc. There's also been reports that this 270-page document has now been handed over. Can you make like whatever comment you can regarding this?
Yeah, like I just found out about the same as you yesterday, reading about the provisional suspension. Don't really understand really what that means, provisional suspension, but and it's weird how it's leaked out into the press as well. So, you know, like anything to do with Conor Benn, stories get leaked out by who we don't know, but there must have only been, I didn't even know about it, so there must have been literally a couple of organisations that knew about that. But yeah, I know that Conor Benn's lawyers are directly talking with UCAD now, so that's all I can say on the situation, really. You know, they're talking directly with them. Hopefully something gets sorted out with them with a document.
From what Conor Benn kind of put on his social post yesterday about that situation hasn't changed, as in we know he's going to be fighting abroad for his next fight anyway, but the situation regarding not necessarily UCAD, maybe more so now because of the news yesterday, but the board situation, is that something that you yourself would just like kind of sort it out ASAP?
Well, he ain't got a British Boxing Board of Control licence, so, you know, I don't think there's much that can be done there now anyway. So his lawyers talking direct to UCAD, I think that's where, you know, that's where it needs to be sorted out, really. So, yeah, that's it.
And in regards to his next move, obviously there's talk of him, just from Eddie Hearn's comments, about potentially fighting in the UAE in June or in America. Eddie Hearn said a few days ago that there are still talks regarding a potential fight with Chris Eubank Jr. But for yourself, what can you tell us about his next move regarding an opponent?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, firstly, before you talk about any fights, he needs to be licensed. He hasn't got a license at the minute, a boxing license. So until he gets a boxing license, you can't really talk about any fights really at the moment. But all I can say is he will need to fight pretty soon, because he's been out of the ring 14 or 15 months now, which is, you know, quite a long time in inactivity for young fighters isn't good. So he does need to get back into the ring. But as I say, until he's licensed, you can't really talk about any fights.
Do you anticipate any issues about him being licensed anywhere? Obviously, he's not going to fight in the UK, but do you anticipate any problems about him being licensed in the UAE or in America?
I don't know. That's what, you know, that's what his lawyers are doing. So I'll just leave everything to them. That's like not in my hands, really.
Obviously, this situation has panned for like a few months now, and for yourself, it's like must be frustrating because it's been constantly talked about. Obviously, we're talking about it now, not ironically, but we're talking about it because of yesterday's news more so. But is it frustrating for you that this seems like it's not going away, like this constant kind of situation being talked about regarding your fighter?
Well, I just think the right things are being done with his lawyers speaking to UCAD. I just think that stories are getting leaked purposely to try and, you know, to try and mess him up or mess things up with him. And, you know, he's not a licence holder with a British Boxing Board of Control. So, you know, he's got to be licensed elsewhere. And I just think the stories that are getting leaked are purposely done. And, you know, he needs to be licensed to fight. He hasn't got a licence, so he can't fight at the minute. So that's what stage we're at the moment. So is it frustrating to keep talking about it? It is frustrating to keep talking about it because nothing's really happened at the moment. So a lot of it's left in his lawyers' hands, and they're sorting their end out. As I said, they're speaking to UCAD, so there's not much more that can be said really on the subject.
In his post yesterday, he did mention or made reference to the Amir Khan situation, where that was kept away from the public for multiple months. The exact timescale of that, maybe a year, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, he made reference to that in his social post yesterday. So is that again a little bit of a frustrating thing, considering the current situation? We know they're not similar situations, but it's just the process of like timelines of people finding out and it being kept away.
Well, if you look at all the cases, you know, all the cases have been behind closed doors. If you look at all the cases of the people testing positive, the only one that ain't been kept behind closed doors is Conor Benn's, and that's obviously for a reason that people will keep leaking the stories out on him, and that's why we keep talking about it. He's never had a chance to defend himself behind closed doors like everybody else has had that chance, you know. And if he had that chance, he probably wouldn't have had the big blow up and scandal that we've had now. But you know, he's something that he's got to deal with. You know, I believe he's innocent, that he's never taken anything. And you know, I've seen the document, and hopefully the document and the UCAD get together and with his lawyers, and it'll end up getting sorted. I'm sure it will.
Just the last one on this. Is it just important more so for Conor just to get him, like you said, back in the ring? He's been out for quite some time now. Get him back in the ring and let people kind of now judge him on his boxing as opposed to kind of this process. I know there's a lot that's we don't know and it's probably still going to materialise in terms of whatever's going on legally, but for him, for himself, surely he's just got to get fighting again and kind of concentrate on that at 26 years old.
Yeah, you know, and that's my main objective. I want him to fight, and I want him to fight, you know, as soon as he gets a boxing licence.
Okay, well listen, let's finish off obviously on the main matter this week, and all that matters is that Joe Cordina gets the job done, beats Rakhimov and becomes a two-time world champion.
Yeah, you know, and as I said, he's in great condition mentally and physically, and I'm looking forward to Saturday night to see what Joe's going to do, and I believe that he'll come out victorious.
Joe's already told us what Rolex he wants from Eddie Hearn once he becomes a two-time world champion as well.
Once that one you've got on your...
No. Listen, all right, can I say one thing? This watch here, if Eddie Hearn could get away with getting in one of these, he'd take it right now.
That's a snide from Dubai. I'll watch you buy that.
Turkey.
No,
let's just put it out there. From what my conversations with Joe earlier on, he wants a green-faced Daytona. Gold.
Is that what you want, Joe? I don't even know what that looks like, Joe, to be honest. I just wear the slide.
But Conor McGregor's got one.
Oh, is he?
And Billy Joe Saunders has got one as well, actually.
I'm sure Eddie will buy him one. If he said he'd buy you one, he'll buy
I'm pretty certain, I'm going to have to try and find the clip. I'm pretty certain on IFL, without outing Eddie, because he said it, he has stated that if you beat Rakimov, become a 2-time world champion, technically he owes you fucking 2 watches. We won't go there, you just take one, Joe, yeah?
Eddie, if you're listening to this, yeah, I've trained a 2-time world champion. What am I going to get? Like, I want to get some sort of watch. Not one of them moody CASSIUS you and Barry chuck out to everyone, the office staff. I want to get a nice Rolex as well, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have that one, Coog.
He will take a blue-faced dweller from Turkey. Tony Sims, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Yeah, this is going to be an epic week. It's a great card here in Cardiff as well. We don't have enough boxing in Wales as it is. It's only really when now this man headline shows, so long that may that continue.
That's right, you know, and the atmosphere is electric, and you know, they're great boxing fans, the Welsh people, especially the Cardiff, and they really roar on their fighters, and it's going to be a great night Saturday night. Tune in to the Zone.
Tune into the Zone, absolutely. If you haven't got a ticket, I hear there's about 30 tickets left.
Not even that. Is there, Joe? 30 tickets?
No, I've just spoke to the ticket girl. She told me
Well, it's 30 tickets
33 tickets left or something.
Well,
Yeah.
try and grab them, Joe. Start putting KUGAN outside, sell them outside the door.
Send me out on Friday night, yeah. Send me to Pop World in Cardiff on Friday night. I'll get rid of them. Tony, thank you very much. And listen, we wish you the best of luck on Saturday night, and we'll catch a word with you afterwards.
Thanks, KUGAN. Appreciate that, mate.
Refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,